Hey ladies and gents, welcome back to Mr. Radden. You're not crazy, it just seems that way. A few months back, I did a video about Monica Geller and how her obsessive-compulsive disorder is played as a joke in sitcom Friends. Now, I don't recall the term obsessive-compulsive disorder ever being mentioned in the show, but that's exactly what she has to the extreme, and it is played as a joke. And I analyse that problem in that video. For this video, I'm going to be discussing a favourite of mine. A favourite of mine from a classic TV sitcom from years ago, Frasier. And the character is Niles Crane. And the specific problem I'm referring to is where he has to always get out a plain handkerchief and use it to wipe down any chair that he's about to sit on before he sits on it. Doesn't matter if it's in public, he has to do it. That's his routine, his ritual. That's it, his ritual. So why does he do this ritual, and is there any point to it? The first question, it's explained in season 11 where we're introduced to the character Ronnie. However, she decided to basically torment or tease Niles by saying that any chair or couch he sits on and there will be mini bugs that crawl into his ear. I would like to quickly point out that how adults treat children or what they say to kids can have either a really good impact or a detrimental effect to those kids later on in life. And in this case, what she said shook Niles pretty hard. The result is that as an adult, he now imagines tiny little bugs all over whatever he's about to sit on. Is there, however, a point to him wiping down chairs or seats with a plain handkerchief before he sits down? Is there a point to doing it every time? Well, the thing about obsessive-compulsive disorder is there usually isn't any point to doing the ritual that it expects you to do. And I say expects you to do because usually people with this problem don't want to do it, but they're compelled to because of this urge in their brain caused by OCD. So you do have the choice to ignore your OCD, but usually because of how strong that pull is, you feel compelled to do that ritual. And if your brain is anything like mine has been over the years, it is extremely difficult to ignore. And if you do try to ignore it, your world just won't be right unless you do give in to it at some point. So Niles could easily ignore his OCD and avoid doing that ritual. He could, so why doesn't he? Because the thoughts that Ronnie put into his head when he was younger still affects him as a man, because it still scares him. So he has to wipe down any chair he sits on, otherwise his anxiety tells him that if he doesn't, a bug might crawl into his ear. And that anxiety has led him to have this obsessive-compulsive disorder issue where he has to do the ritual of getting out a handkerchief and wiping down any chair or seat he's about to sit on before he sits on it. The sad truth is that his ritual does literally nothing. In fact, realistically and logically, the only ways that Niles has of having a chance of either disinfecting a chair or getting rid of any tiny bugs that might be on it would be to use some very strong sanitizer spray or some sort of insect killer. And chances are, if Niles had the access to one of those options at the time, he probably would have used the entire bottle. Also, I'm pretty sure that the people who work at the coffee shop always clean down all the chairs and tables after a long day, which also means that's another reason why Niles' ritual is completely pointless. But the reason why he still does it despite this is because it won't feel right if he doesn't. And because it's not clean to his satisfaction, despite the fact that the way he attempts to clean it is completely pointless. Because it's all about feeling satisfaction in your brain. What feels right to you, what makes your whole world feel completely fine and normal again because you've done this routine, even though it was completely unnecessary. Bottom line is that thanks to, or should I say no thanks to that woman Ronnie, Niles has now carried that anxiety into his adult years. And anxiety has led him to have this obsessive-compulsive disorder ritual, which in the show is played as a joke. So the scene comes up, Niles pulls out a chair, takes out a handkerchief, gives it a good wiping down, and then finally gets to sit down. The laughing track plays while he's doing this, and we're supposed to laugh at how quirky Niles Crane is. In the show, it's played for laughs, but I assure you, ladies and gents, that anyone who has this kind of problem in real life would not be laughing. You try doing this particular OCD routine in public, hoping that no one's going to notice. Because they can all just grab a seat and sit down, no problem, and they will just stare at you, wondering, what are you playing at? Of course, that may not happen frequently, but it doesn't mean that the person with the problem doesn't feel extremely self-conscious when they have to do it, even though they wish they didn't have to do it. Does that make sense? So their OCD compels them to do it so they feel okay in the brain, but they always feel self-conscious while they're doing this ritual, and they wish they didn't have to do it. Is this problem as bad as Monica's was in Friends? Well, when it comes to anxiety and OCD, I would not want to make that a competition. In fact, if you've got an OCD problem that's nowhere near that bad, I would count your blessings. It is, however, quite sad when a sitcom like those two shows a character with those issues. It's played always as a joke that we're supposed to laugh at. Oh look, they're doing a thing again, look how quirky they are, ha ha. But if it happened to you in real life, you definitely wouldn't be so quick to laugh. Anyway, ladies and gents, that's all for me for now. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed the content. Feel free to like, share and subscribe, all those good things. And until next time, take care, stay safe, all the best.